Nerdette newsstand. Am I blocked again? No, you're not blocked. I see you.
I don't think you're blocked. I didn't block you. I unblocked you like months ago.
Yeah, man. Stop blocking people, Dane.
Yeah, people see you. You're there. I see you.
Yeah,
like,
you're not John Cena. We see
you.
you.
Like I was thinking like the Na'vi, the Avatar. I see you.
I see you.
Now let's have use our ponytails to fuck.
So is that what that? Wait. So is that what that guy was doing with all those animals?
Yeah, dude, like, the man and the woman literally they use their ponytails to do it, but he was also using his ponytail to connect into the animals, and it's like,
So Avatar is about a guy that goes to a planet of a bunch of different species
with his ponytail. Yep,
got it.
I can't wait for the sequels. How many creatures is he gonna bang in the sequels? You know what I mean?
That's your move, MCU. How are you gonna top that?
It's like, okay, so what? You put a gay scene in Eternals. Watch this. Hold my beer.
That's why it's taking James Cameron so long to.
Yeah, he's got to get that
shit right. He's like, I got to come up with some weird, creepy shit.
Well, he's got to make sure that the ponytail fucking is tasteful. You know what I mean? Like, you don't want to do that in a crass way. You want to make it tasteful and romantic and loving and stuff. So
yeah, and James Cameron's the king of that, right? Draw me like you did one of those French girl paintings or whatever.
I mean, I don't know, that sex scene in the first Terminator movie is pretty good, man. Like it's still, it holds up. It's still pretty hot.
It's in my top 3. It's in my top 3 for sure.
This is what's going to happen if I don't get to 5,000 subs by the end of the year. I'll look like that, okay?
Oh.
You don't want to see me look like this, so please subscribe.
I definitely don't want to see Dane in court. That's for sure.
Yep, Gordy's here. Gordy's doing his Gordy thing where he wants my attention at the most inopportune times possible, but he's a good boy.
He's a good boy. He's a good boy. He's a good boy, Gordy.
Ah, man. I'm allergic to him though. Like I can only have him up in my lap for like a few minutes at a time. I mean, like otherwise it's fine living with him, but just whenever he wants to get up on my chest and rub up on me, I start getting all itchy and shit. So I got a pretty cool announcement. I am streaming a Monday night, and this just came up last night after the debate. I got some feedback from one Mr. Mark Brooks, who is my favorite cover artist for Marvel. And he was like really impressed with my performance and said that he wants to come on stream anytime and give his 2 cents. So Monday evening, I will be live streaming with Mr. Mark Brooks, the one and only. And he's
that's awesome.
I know, right?
Congrats. Yeah. So he saw the whole debate. He was just watching.
Yeah, I tweeted about it and he asked for the link, and I wasn't planning on uploading it till today. But he was like, you got the link? And I was like, well, I guess I'm going to go ahead and upload it now so I can give it to this dude. So yeah, I uploaded it, and then he watched it and came back later and was like, that was brilliant.
Yeah, you did really good, man. You did really good for your... I refuse to believe that was your first debate.
I mean, apparently it wasn't really a debate. Like he's spinning it afterwards as saying it wasn't. And I did say at the end that I didn't consider it a debate because... I mean, but then we got to get into defining what the hell is a debate, because none of this stuff that people do on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, it's not really debate in the traditional sense. Like it's not the way that people learn to debate in debate class or anything like that. It's its own separate kind of animal. You know what I mean? But like, I didn't go into it thinking of it as a debate, but I mean, what else am I going to do but hold him to his positions and try to figure out what his logic is behind things and point out, logical inconsistencies. So I guess if that qualifies as a debate, I don't know. You know what I mean?
I think it was a debate. He had his position. You guys had, you had yours, and you guys went at it, right? More or less, trying to convince the other.
Nerdette.
Oh, I debated Ripa. That guy is fucking stupid. That guy literally said that Superman is not an alien. He's a humanoid. actual quote. That asshole won't even fucking post a debate because he has that whole monetize your haters little mantra. And I was like, hey, I emailed him. I was like, hey, would you like to monetize a debate with me? And he said, sure. But he never posted it. And I'm pretty sure it's because he knows he fucked up when he said Superman's not an alien.
That's really, really, I mean, how is Superman not an alien? Like, what does he think an alien is? Just something that looks different from a human? Does that mean a dog is an alien? What?
Well, he's not an alien because he's white, I guess. I don't know. That's the only thing I could think of. Like, there's no reason. Like, there's nothing else. Like, he's an alien. He's not from this planet. You're an alien. Sorry.
That's it. That's it. That's all it can be.
That's all it is.
Oh, he said Jon Stewart, Green Lantern, is a tokenized character. Jesus Christ. Isn't he a black dude? Am I wrong?
Young Ripper, yeah.
That's what's frustrating about this type of shit is like, just what can you say to that? You know what I mean? Like when a black dude is telling you that this is a token black character, it's like, I mean, yeah, you can make all the logical arguments you want, but in the end, he's going to rely on the fact that, hey, I'm a black dude saying it.
Wait, so he's going to use identity politics?
Well, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's like Tim Pool has done that exact thing where he's like, in one debate or conversation one time, Tim Pool was like, I don't like identity politics, and then like 5 minutes later, he's like, well, I am of Asian descent and blah blah.
As an Asian man,
yeah.
Who this is? Ripa? Oh, yeah. He monetizes haters, but he didn't monetize me. Young Ripa, I'm calling you out. Everyone, send this video to him. Why won't he post the goddamn video of me debating him? Why won't he post it?
Yeah, Nerdette, they get the followings they do because they are so confident, basically. Like the confidence level far outweighs the level of, any kind of logic or knowledge base when it comes to these things. But as long as you say everything forcefully and confidently, it doesn't, to a lot of people, it doesn't matter. You're just kind of like the energy of your confidence gets them excited and they'll just go along with it.
It's also like people want to be part of a community, and sometimes, they act a little more toxic than they should because they are part of that community. They just want to feel, they want to belong. A lot of the times when I'm debating these people, especially in the comments section, they just some of them just want to be heard. And they even thank me after debating. And I was like, oh, thanks for hearing me out. I never thought of it that way, blah, blah, blah. So I assume there's a good chunk of people there that they just want a community that they could feel a part of.
Yep. Speaking of which, there's let's see. I wanted to look at a couple of comments on this debate. First of all, I was planning on discussing this anyway, but since Tristan's here, I'll go ahead and mention it. I agreed with this. She told me that, the name calling and anger and stuff, which, did come before the debate. I honestly was not thinking I would be debating anytime soon. I didn't think that this guy would be watching the video, and I was just kind of talking shit, right? And then he showed up. And I was like, okay, I should probably kind of chill out and be more fair since he's, actually going to be on stream and talk about it. So yeah, I did. I called him a shitbag, by the way, not because of the only reason that I called him that. And I was being so harsh with him before the debate was because on Twitter, he was telling women that they needed a dicking. So like a couple of female comics fans were like, replying to him about his dumb shit. And he was retweeting them saying, you need a dicking. And I was just like, what kind of sad, creepy motherfucker talks like that, dude? So yeah, that was where a lot of
maybe it helped him. Maybe he got a good dicking. And he's like, hey, one for everyone, right?
Yeah.
Maybe. But yeah, you like the whole idea is always, it's kind of performative. It's kind of theatrical, you want to get these guys to talk to you. And usually the only way to get these guys to talk to you is to piss them off enough to want to go in there and do your thing. Right. So it's a little bit of showmanship. This is how fighters get fights in boxing or MMA. They have to do a little song and dance. Hey, you asshole, you're scared to talk to me, aren't you? Blah, blah, blah. Then they get on, then you could be more into like, okay, you came on. I respect that. So I will respect you and I will take the name calling down a notch. which
Yeah.
I think is what your approach was.
Well, and I learned something too, because as I said when I replied to Tristan, is like, after that debate, I was pretty surprised with myself, honestly. Like I've
Yeah.
avoided that type of thing, not because I'm like scared that I am wrong, because I really don't believe I am in a lot of these cases, but because my anxiety and like my lack of experience public speaking, I just didn't want to do my arguments a disservice by doing a debate and getting all nervous and flustered and shit like that. And, because that would be taken as losing anyway, no matter how correct I was about anything.
Yeah.
So yeah, it just kind of, after that, I was like, holy shit, maybe I'm more cut out for this than I thought. And
maybe,
so, yeah.
What am I doing here then? Fuck it. I don't need to be here. I came to do this show with you because I wanted to debate chuds. But
oh, okay. All right.
fuck, man.
Well, I mean, all right, you can get the next one. How about that? But I mean, this guy straight up showed up.
That guy was so easy. Oh God, please let me get one of those, man.
He showed up ready to talk. You know what I mean? Like he showed up while I was talking about him, and I had to handle it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and you handled it.
As this person says, some movies are made better by not being comic accurate, which is true.
Yeah, some books too, believe it or not. There's a great my girlfriend was telling me about this book called I'm Thinking of Ending Things, right? And the movie just came out last year, and it was a fantastic, phenomenal movie. They changed the ending completely. Well, while the novel is more horror-ish, it turned it into a more a drama of a man thinking about his life, and it was sad. It was like sad. It was cathartic. It was beautiful, and it's totally different from the book. And I think that's great. I think that you could like both, right? Or you could pick which one you like more. This whole needs to be as faithful as humanly possible to the books. It's such horseshit because we have tons of great movies out there based on books that are nothing like the fucking books.
Yep.
So bullshit.
Yep, just a bunch of like really arbitrary goalposts and standards that like, if those are your, like I said at the end, like if those are your preferences, that's fine. But I mean, to call out Gail Simone because she's not abiding by your preferences for how someone should watch movies, even though he doesn't even fit that either. Because as he said, he like doesn't even really read comics. And I understand that he said it's because, he has like issues reading with, and I'm not trying to mock that at all. I understand. It's just that when, you know what I mean? Like let people enjoy things without applying these weird fucking standards to them. And then, writing an article playing victim because you quote tweeted a popular, well-known Twitter figure who has a lot of fans that support her. And then they reply to you and you act like, oh, I'm such a victim here. Like it's silly. But, so
the standard things, it's weird because they also do this for like they do this for like the minority characters, right? It's like these minority characters should not exist unless the writing is amazing, the characters are the most fleshed out thing ever, right? Like everything needs to be perfect. The stars need to be perfectly aligned for a character to be gay. Otherwise,
I think that's kind of I mean that's kind of not accurate because like I said in a recent video, there is no actual way that you could appease them for this type of stuff. It doesn't matter because they change the goalposts depending on
they will change the goalposts. Exactly. That's sort of what I was getting to is like right now they moved the goalposts to a place that I think they know is technically very hard to do and almost impossible. Make everything perfect. But if that goalpost is ever met, it's going to be moved 100%.
Yeah. If they gave you a list of 10 ways that you should write a gay character in order for it to not be forced or woke or whatever, and then you hit all 10 of those points, they'd be like, well, but you didn't hit these other 10 points. You know what I mean? Or you did this other 10 things that kind of just make all that moot. And it's like, there is no way that they would ever be like, okay, that's cool. Like they just don't want the shit in the media at all.
And then the classic line is, it wasn't needed. I think I heard that in your debate a couple times. Like, why is that needed? Why is that needed? It's like, dude, it's entertainment. None of it is needed, technically.
Right. I mean, he's just taking it like so serious. It's entertainment, dude. And it's if there's a deaf character that allows, deaf audience members to connect to the movie more than it was needed, because you want audiences to enjoy movies, right?
Yeah.
You want audiences to connect with things. So if you have more diverse characters, that more of a diverse audience can kind of see themselves on the screen, and then that is necessary. Like,
Yeah.
Otherwise, what's the point? Otherwise, you're not trying to make a successful film. And I thought the whole point was to make a successful piece of art, because they're always using the box office gross as a way to prove or disprove the success of something.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's just inconsistent all around. But I thought this was funny right here. People were pointing out that Lyndon looked like he was in front of a green screen, which I did not notice during the debate.
I did not notice that at all.
I didn't notice it during the debate, but then I was like, I saw a few people saying it. And I'm like, what? And then let's see.
All right, wait. So this dude has a.
So then
Oh my God.
I started looking a little closer, and you look at the hammer and then the shield here. Like, that is a flat image. That is not a real. Those are not real things that are behind him. That is an image. And
what? Couldn't he put cooler shit behind him?
I mean, you would think, like, if you're going to use a green screen.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I don't know, man. I really don't know.
That looks sad.
And like, okay, look, I use a green screen sometimes for the hell of it. It's like, but I also don't think I'm convincing anyone I'm really in front of a thing. I'm doing it for fun, right? Like, but
yeah, man, why do you like show the Death Star or some shit in the background? I don't know.
But I mean, the thing that really got me once I realized this was like, okay, if you want to have a green screen with this sparse big shelf with a few cool items on it, fine, whatever. But when I asked him if he likes other MCU films, he pointed to the green screen. He's like, yeah.
Well, Dane, a lot of MCU films are filmed in green screens. It makes sense. You don't really think that Shang-Chi forest really exists, do you? With the moving trees? Hate to break it to you, buddy. That's a green screen. This dude nailed it. By pointing. Do you like MCU film? Do you like the MCU? And he pointed at a green screen. That tells you everything.
Just like, so apparently somebody on Twitter said that it looks like he might have taken an actual, like, maybe he does actually have this stuff, but he looks like he took a JPEG and stretched it out across the green screen kind of thing.
So now we know that he has that stuff.
Yeah, I guess, and I don't know, maybe I think maybe he probably uses that a lot. My first thought was like, did he come onto the stream intimidated by all the shit that's behind me or something? Like,
yeah, he saw your nerd credentials and he's like, fuck, I got it. And he did a quick Google search. That was the first thing that came up. Not the best, but it's something, right?
I mean, just to be clear
here,
like
stuff, and he just
all this
that's
shit.
That's just weird.
All this shit behind me, by the way, doesn't prove anything about me as a nerd, by the way. It's just shit that I like, and I have it, so I'm going to use it as a backdrop. You don't have to have a bunch of crap to prove your bona fides or anything like that.
The Quartering disagrees. Have you seen his background?
At one point. It's been a long time since I looked at any of this stuff, but
we should do a rating, best backgrounds of these grifters. Who has the best grifter background?
Let's see.
I'm gonna go with Doomcock. Fuck it.
I mean, yeah, tell you what, dude, say what you will about Toilet Face. At least he uses a green screen to his advantage. And
he's in a little fucking spaceship or science lab or something.
Dude, he
commits snuff film basement. Like this guy that had, like, holy shit.
It's like where the last thing that the person saw before they were snuffed was like, oh god, it's a really crappy looking Thor's hammer. Oh no.
Oh, no. You don't have the Infinity Gauntlet, loser.
Oh. Yeah, yep. All right.
That's hilarious. Like, I understand. I mean, it's not the worst thing. It's not even technically a negative that he did that. It's just weird. Like, why would you just, like, what do you care? Like, that you need to show weird. What's normally behind you. I don't know.
Yeah, and it's not a negative necessarily. It just kind of contributes to the idea that, as he said, he doesn't really read comics, and I've said this before. I'm not a gatekeeper in the sense that, like, I don't think you have to have read a bunch of comics to consider yourself a fan. I think that's bullshit.
I mean, you have me on the show. I do not read that many comics. I've read
Right.
only a handful in my life, but I love these movies and I love the culture. I love the community that.
But
these,
the thing that pisses me off about these type of guys is that a lot of them very clearly don't read comics at all, but they spend so much time being angry about what happens in comics and comic movies, and it's like, it's just so dishonest. It's just so dishonest.
Well, it is what it is, right? Grifting. It's just grifting.
Oh, then you got then this guy from Geeks and Gamers, one of the I guess the black guys that writes for them showed up, and he's like, kind of ignores that I, a black man, was brought on to review movies on Geeks and Gamers, and we praise movies based on their merit. And I pointed out, I didn't ignore it. I said that regardless of how many black or queer employees Geeks and Gamers has, the majority of the content and the most visible figure from Geeks and Gamers makes so much hateful content as to make any other content moot. And I told him, get a better job with an ethical approach, and your contributions won't be lost in a sea of bigotry.
Yeah. Boom.
You know,
that last line, that was a good one. I want to see some of his reviews.
This guy, for one thing, this kind of apathy, cynicism shit really kind of, scratches my taint. Opinions are like arseholes. Everybody's got one. We all are in our own echo chambers, this channel included. It is what it is. You also are you're in your internet bubble. It's not good for any of us, but it's sadly how it is. And I told him it's a defeatist, lazy attitude. It's possible to have opinions that aren't harmful, and it's a choice to always stay in your bubble and never question your views. The sane and ethical thing to do is to listen to other perspectives and err on the side of humanism and inclusion. And he actually agreed with me. So, okay.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah, good job, Pisswobble. You get a heart. Okay, here's this person, not my name, said, talking to someone like this is pointless. He wasn't there in good faith, just constantly smirking at you. Okay, for the first couple of statements, I can agree, but the just smirking at me, I don't think so. He seemed very, very nervous and like he was not having a good time, especially toward the end. Like I actually felt bad, and I cut the debate or the conversation because I actually felt bad for how uncomfortable he seemed. It was like watching him try to claw his way out of a pit or something.
Well, to be fair, a lot of professional Hollywood actors have trouble acting in front of a green screen as well. So,
yeah,
it's not the same. You need the present. He needs his full environment.
The point that I really take issue with is the talking to someone like this is pointless. And now. Yeah. If you're thinking that my entire goal was to convince this guy he's wrong, then yeah, that is pointless. But that's not what I was doing. Okay, here's something I want to point out. This video has 1,015 views. Okay, it's got 77 comments. Far fewer people comment than watch. Right? So, and usually if somebody's commenting, they already have their mind mostly made up about things. But what I think about is how many people don't comment and are watching anyway. And definitely some of those are going to be people who just disagree with me, or they're mocking me, or hate watching, or whatever. But there is a percentage there, and I have no idea what it is, but just law of averages probability tells me that there is a percentage of people who are watching and are gaining something from this conversation. Like maybe they aren't aware of, maybe they've heard his type of arguments before, but they haven't heard mine. And maybe they're not completely dead set on the side of anti-woke, anti-SJW mindset. So hearing someone say the things against his points that I did might make them go, oh, well, I hadn't considered that. And like, I'd be willing to put money on the fact that at least one person out of these 1,015 watch this and gain something out of it, as far as like, something they hadn't thought about before. And even not just that, but people who already agree with me, who pretty much agree with my points, now have a better set of arguments against this type of stuff because they've watched me do it in real time.
Yep. And not only that, this might be a little controversial to say, but I like debating. And if I feel I'm doing very well and the other person's doing kind of poorly, I want them to go back and think about it, right? I want them to think about like that one question that stump them a little bit, and maybe, you know, it's never going to be with one debate you could change someone's mind. Like, you know, it's a gradual, it's a process, right? And so the goal would be that he thinks of something and comes back to me 2 weeks, 3 weeks, or, you know, a day later, and then asks me a question I hadn't thought about, right? I want to be asked. I want to be challenged. I want to know my positions are correct, or if I have to adjust them a little bit. And so that's what I'm always looking forward to, is like, I wonder if there's ever going to be a moment where someone gets me in a corner and I actually have to think about it. And that's what I want, because I want to be as correct as humanly possible.
To his point, not really his point, because he didn't make a good point, but I did not have a great counter argument in mind for his. He talked about, basically he was trying to play the reverse racism card, you know, where he's like, oh, well, have you ever been you know, had prejudiced against because you're white or whatever? And it's like, I didn't have in my mind a great the framing to counter that and say that, okay, yeah, I have been judged for being white before when I'm in certain, you know, situations and stuff like that. But at the same time, that's not the same thing as systemic racism. Like, a human person can be bigoted towards other people on an individual level, but, you know, racism, in the sense that we talk about it a lot in the discourse these days, is about systemic racism and the inherent disparities between races in the system. And, you know, it doesn't matter how many,
where no individual has to be racist for that system to flourish.
Right. It doesn't have to be. I mean, it doesn't matter if some, you know, Hispanic person or black person or whatever is an asshole to me because I'm white. Yeah, I'll get over it. You know what I mean? Like, because at the end of the day, I am privileged over them, and I'm not like trying to lord that over anybody or anything, but like, just, you know, I've talked about this before. I've had a shitty life. I had a shitty upbringing as a kid, like really, really shitty in a lot of ways. But when I look back and think about, but what if I was not white? It's fucking scary to think about. Like, how much worse it would have been. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah. we don't live in a society. Bottom text, Margaret Thatcher.
Yeah.
Good one. Good one. Hey, Christy. Good to see you. Good to see you.
Power structures don't exist, I guess. I think that was sarcasm, right?
Yeah, it was sarcasm. Isn't the best way to battle bigotry empathy, is what this dude said. Yeah, that's what I'm doing. My empathy goes toward people who are bigoted against. My my assertiveness and my aggressiveness with my positions is fueled by that empathy. And if someone's being like maliciously ignorant or arrogantly ignorant, you know, towards even the concept of bigotry existing, which a lot of these people do, then yeah, I'm gonna get pretty assertive about it. And that comes
we're
from
empathetic as fuck,
because that comes from a place of love, as fucked up as it sounds. You know what I mean? Like, I'm a pretty patient and empathetic person and kind to people on a daily basis. But if you're coming at me with some bullshit and trying to defend or support bigotry, whether you think it is bigotry or not, if I spot it, I'm going to be a dick about it. You know what I mean? Like, I will typically try to explain to someone, if it's like my first time encountering them, I might try, you know, being level-headed and reasonable and say, well, hey, consider this. But if they just continue to be arrogantly ignorant about a thing, then yeah, I'm gonna crank it up a notch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Especially on Twitter.
Yeah, Allison's good point. People don't understand the difference between racism and prejudice. That's true. That's true. Yeah. And you know, it's an ambiguous kind of thing, and unless you're willing to think about it and consider the definitions, then it's easy to get them conflated. You know, but like, yeah, racism is just a thing that exists in our society. As far as you know, you don't have to think of black people as N-words or subhuman or anything like that in order to be racist. If you are just ambivalent or apathetic towards the fact that, you know, let's say the criminal justice system is set up in such a way that operated in such a way that black people suffer and go to prison and have their lives ruined at a far higher rate than white people for the same exact crimes. If you refuse to acknowledge that, or you think it's bullshit, then you are a racist, even if you've never had a malicious or bigoted thought about black people. You know what I mean? Like, and it doesn't mean that you're racist in the sense that you're going to burn in racism hell or something like that. It just means you need to fucking reflect on this shit and inform yourself.
Just think about it. Just think about it. You just got to think a little bit. Think about your position. Ground those moral axioms, as they say.
I like how people just are like in a rush to defend Jeremy with like anecdotal things. And this guy, you're wrong about that because racism means you hate that specific race, so you don't want them around you. So no, you can't be racist. Okay. I think I just addressed this, right? Didn't I just address this?
Has he seen Django Unchained? That person?
Ah, that's a good point.
Did you? What'd you think of Leonardo DiCaprio's character hanging out? Who he hung out with? Fucking moron.
Yeah, I mean,
movies helps everyone. That's where I got my shit, all my debate points.
That's a really good point. Yeah, I mean, I guess Calvin Candy's not a racist because he's got he had what was Samuel L. Jackson's name?
Yeah, and that guy looked like he was running the house, right? It was just they were putting on a show where he'd act like the oh yeah, master, and then they get in the back room is like those motherfuckers aren't from over there. You got to deal with that. That was fucking awesome.
I'm not gonna make everybody rewatch this debate again, but if you haven't seen it, go check it out.
Yeah, it's good. It was good. Our boy did good.
I did all right. I did okay. I like I said, I do regret. I try to learn from new experiences, and for one thing, I learned that I'm a much better debater than I would have anticipated, which is cool. But in the negative column, I learned that I need to be more, I guess, considerate in how I approach these things in the future, as far as like, I don't regret calling the guy a shitbag, but whenever he showed up and I was like, you're a piece of shit, looking back on that, I'm like, I shouldn't have like tripled down like that while he was in the chat. And it actually, I do give him points for coming on anyway. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like that's actually respectable that he, even because if it was me and somebody was calling me those names on a stream, I'd be like, fuck you, dude. I'm not coming on your stream.
I'm sending the perp.
Yeah. Let me get my perp on you. But the other thing is, yeah, I need to get better at articulating my arguments regarding race. That's where my whiteness comes through, is that I haven't had to really formulate these points as much as other people do. So I will do better. I will be working on that.
That's good. They'll never have that reflection. How can they get better? They actually have to right? How can you get better from those positions? You can't. They're always going to be stuck in that position where it's like, and they're going to constantly be told like, no, this and that, and they're still not going to change their position, right?
Who do you mean?
I mean, like that guy, like all those guys, geeks and gamers, all those grifters, they hear these arguments all the time, but they still don't change the position. They're just
no. I mean the people. I mean, I get comments under almost every video of someone saying that they were an anti-SJW or Comicsgate a while back, and that they're so glad they're not anymore. I get it all the time, but the difference is none of those people have channels or websites that they're making money from. So they're not incentivized to just keep going without, with blinders on and not considering anything else, because it pays. It pays to be Jeremy from Geeks and Gamers, and then he can afford to hire black people and queer people who maybe don't give a shit about anyone but themselves. Just because that's kind of a bigoted assumption too, is that just because someone is black or queer or whatever, that they have to give a shit about what happens to other black and queer people, because that's just not the case. I mean, you've got Blacks for Trump, for fuck's sake. And you know what I mean? And this is a guy that was like wanting to send out feds to shoot BLM protesters last year, Trump. Mm-hmm. So it's such an absurd argument to be like, well, this black guy doesn't agree, so there is no racism or whatever. Like, it's silly.